Going on, good people? DJ here. Nobody else here with me tonight for your NXT review for 5/30/2018. Um, Casey has had some flooding around his house, especially with all the rain going on the East Coast. It's been kind of crazy. Been I think what was it 2 weeks ago here we had a little bit of flooding, and then Casey's having some flooding in his basement, so he hasn't been able to watch NXT or Impact thus far. So I'll probably be doing. I know I'm doing this one obviously alone, but Impact I'll probably have Rabbit on. I was gonna try to get Justin, the True JSB, or Juggernaut 097 or whatever he goes by. I'm gonna try to get him to join, but he was tied up as well. But gonna attack this one solo. This NXT review. I was excited going into this show. It seemed like it was a pretty stacked show. We had a well, it's weird with NXT for me because sometimes I don't know. I forget what's going on in the NXT. So then I get to the next week and it's like, oh snap, okay, we got a women's title match. All right. And then we had a cool debut, which was nice, which I wasn't expecting. That's the one thing I do like about NXT. That's different from Impact, which is kind of the two things that we do review on the channel. Subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already. But with NXT, you never really know what's gonna go down, and that's how they keep you interested in the next week. But with Impact, because it's pre-recorded, sometimes they have to reveal that stuff in advance because just to kind of please the entire demographic, those people who are looking at spoilers, those people who aren't looking at spoilers. So I was definitely excited coming into the show, and it was pretty good. Um, let's jump into the first thing we had, which was the kind of Lars Sullivan, Aleister Black series. And Aleister Black came out and cut a promo, um, which I like Aleister Black's promos, but for whatever reason, I feel like his character feels is a weird talker. Like his character makes him come off as a weird talker to me. I don't know why that is, but for some reason, his character just feels like he shouldn't be talking. It's not that I don't think he's a good talker. It's just something about his character that makes it feel weird when he does talk. Um, it's kind of like he shouldn't be saying too much, which he really doesn't when he does come out. But for whatever reason, I like his promos, but at the same time, his character just for me does not seem like the type that should be talking as much as he does, even though it is not too much at this moment right now. But then again, he is the champion, so he kind of has to a certain degree. But promo was pretty good. I liked it. Like I said, I always like Aleister Black promos. I think he's done a good job as champion. Um, and now we're kind of seeing Lars Sullivan come to the forefront too. He came out and interrupted the promo, and he's kind of got his sights set. I think he's the new number one contender, if I'm not mistaken. I was wondering this as I was watching. I was like, is he the new number one contender? Considering him and Killian Dane were going after the title. That was kind of their big thing. That was the main point behind their feud. And now that that's kind of over with Sanity going up to the main roster here in the near future, I think they've already promoted him. I just don't think they've debuted yet. But with Sandy going to the main roster, Lars Sullivan's kind of left to kind of try to get to the top of NXT. And I think he did a good job. I liked it. I'm liking Lars more and more that I see him. At first, I was like, I don't really like him. I'm not a real fan. But then, like, as I've seen him more and I've seen more of Lars Sullivan, I feel like Lars has really improved to me. Like, I mean, I don't even know if he's improved at all, but like to me, I've liked him more. So I call that an improvement in my books. But this was good, though. I like Lars coming out and confronting Aleister Black, kind of setting that up for TakeOver Chicago 2, which is on June 16th. So that's obviously why they're setting that up coming up here soon. So I didn't realize NXT TakeOver was that soon, but it is coming up. I don't know what WWE like pay-per-view is coming up in that regard. I'm trying to think of what's Money in the Bank. I think it's going to be the same weekend as Money in the Bank. I think, if I'm not mistaken, or I think it's the weekend before. I think Money in the Bank might be the weekend of the 24th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely excited for this because I like Lars. Lars is one of those guys. I'm kind of wondering how they're gonna allow Lars to lose to Aleister Black if he does that first time, because Aleister Black hasn't had the title for long, so it feels like Aleister Black should continue to reign with the title. But at the same time, Lars is one of those guys who's been such a dominant monster that I don't feel like you can I really don't feel like I feel like it's gonna be hard for them to pull that victory from Lars because he's just been so dominant. But at the same time, it's like, should Aleister Black lose the title this soon? And if so, what are they going to do with him? You know, because I think he's ready to go up to the main roster, but at the same time, you kind of got you don't want him to get lost in the main roster too early. So so we're kind of just being patient with Aleister Black right now. But I'm excited for a Lars Aleister match. I like Lars. He's been doing some good stuff lately, especially with Killian Dane. So I'm excited. I'm hoping they continue to push him. Kind of wondering how this match is going to play out, though. Um, Moving on to our next match, which was the War Raiders. Lord, that name. Going up against Cody Vincent and George Hickson. Um, this was just your typical jobber match. I don't have much to say about this match. I didn't think. I mean, it was just typical jobber match. Good to see War Machine doing their thing. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with them. Because right now, trying to think of who the tag team champions are right offhand. I can't put my finger on it. Oh, it's the Undisputed Era. So you wonder how long they're going to keep the titles, especially now adding in Roderick Strong. They have still that tag team they can use with Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, but at the same time, that could be cause for them to lose the titles, not necessarily break up. I'm excited to see what happens with that. I hope that didn't glitch out a little bit. I'm gonna repeat that one more time just in case it was my computer was acting funny. But I feel like they could the Undisputed Era could lose the tag titles and it not be an issue just because of they could kind of put it on Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly haven't teamed as much as O'Reilly and Fish have, obviously. So they could do that, especially with Bobby Fish being hurt. But at the same time, I kind of want to see Undisputed Era take over because it's been a while, if not, I don't think we've ever seen a tag team completely take over NXT. And I think that would be awesome, a tag team / faction with Undisputed Era because you got Adam Cole with the North American title. They could even push Roderick Strong to the NXT title once Bobby Fish comes back, and him and Kyle O'Reilly can do their thing. But that might stymie that whole like takeover type thing if they don't, if Bobby Fish is out. I'm not sure how long Bobby Fish is out. I know he blew his knee out, so he might be out for a while. So that might kind of put a wrench in that plan for now. But the match was okay. It was a typical jobber match. I'm liking the War Raiders getting a chance to show off what they can do. I'm just excited for a real feud with them. I'm wondering if they're gonna have something coming up, especially with Takeover coming, and they kind of been in a thing with both the Street Profits and Heavy Machinery. So you kind of wonder, what's going to happen with that. I would like to. They could even do that. That is kind of a three-way to determine maybe a number one contender for the next time, or maybe anything really. I mean, they can make that into really anything if they want to. So I'm excited. I want to see what they do with the War Raiders. Then next we had EC3 making his in-ring return against Fabian Eichner. Fabian Eichner is a guy who he's always putting these like weird jobber matches, but at the same time, I think Fabian Eichner is a very formidable jobber. Like I feel like they're gonna push him eventually because he's a good hybrid big guy. Because we saw it in the Cruiserweight Classic, you saw him kind of flying around a little bit. He used that power to his advantage, but at the same time, he can match athleticism with anybody. It reminds me a lot of Brian Cage from Lucha Underground Impact, just kind of all over the world, pretty much. Right, obviously right now on Impact, but he reminds me a lot of him because he's a bigger guy, stout guy, but at the same time has the athleticism that can kind of peak anybody. So I thought this is a good match. Good to see Fabian Eichner back. EC3, obviously, good to see him back. He's doing a good job as well. Still wondering, what's going to happen with this. One thing that happened in the middle of this match was Johnny Gargano came out and basically kind of announced that or he had the contract in his hand that was signed for the street fight against Tommaso Ciampa coming up at Takeover Chicago. So that kind of got in the way of EC3 and Fabian Eichner for a little bit, and EC3 was like, what's this man? What this man doing? So you wonder about that, and you kind of wonder if, because EC3 is a very like high value type of a character. He's a very like, you don't interrupt me, you don't upstage me type of a character. So you wonder if that's going to turn into something later, especially with Gargano and Ciampa. It's, I mean, you don't want that to end, but it's probably coming closer to an end than it is. Obviously, coming close to an end than it is a beginning. So you kind of wonder what's going to go on with EC3, because EC3 doesn't have anything set up for Takeover either. So you wonder, is him and Gargano, not this Takeover, but maybe the next one or whatever. Maybe they'll get a chance to get in the ring together, because that would be pretty cool. Because that's the one thing about NXT. They do a good job with building feuds, and the takeovers are always good. But at the same time, there's always a handful of feuds, like half of the feuds at least, that aren't like lingering, that are like, you don't know until 2 weeks or 1 week beforehand what's going to happen. So that's kind of how it is with EC3. You wonder about War Raiders as well, as far as like what they're going to do when it comes down to this upcoming pay-per-view. Because I mean, the kind of stuff you got set, you got Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. And you got Aleister Black. Well, even Aleister Black, Lars Sullivan is kind of coming like last minute. It's kind of coming like now, which is fine because it's still been building to a certain degree. It's just not those two. The number one contender aspect built itself, and then you came over to now he's the number one contender. Now he can go after Aleister Black. So I like that, but at the same time, I don't, because I feel like you got to still criticize NXT where you can. And sometimes that's just nitpicking in this regard, because we always complain about how the main roster sometimes, you don't really get feuds that build over time. You get feuds that are thrown together at the very crack of dawn, like right before the pay-per-view. Last night they were thrown together last night for the pay-per-view this morning. So that's kind of one of my things when it comes to NXT. As much as I love NXT, I still think they have that main roster tendency. But let's see. Moving on, we had the other match, Ricochet versus Jonathan Dijak. This was cool. Chris Dijak in NXT now, but the in-ring and just overall debut of Jonathan Dijak, I was not expecting this at all. I was like, oh, hey, it's Jonathan Dijak. I was so freaking hyped because I like Jonathan Dijak. I liked him when he was in Ring of Honor, so I'm excited. I know I remember them saying he had re-signed with Ring of Honor, but at the same time, I couldn't remember if he was coming to NXT or not. But this is a good match. Jonathan Dijak, another one of those guys who has a little bit more athleticism than he may look like. He's a bigger guy. I don't know how tall he is. He's probably like 6'6", 6'7", something like that. He's way taller than Ricochet is, and or 6'8" actually. That's what it is. 6'8" he is. But he's a big guy. But he tried to pull off a moonsault in this match. He did a couple of nice things. A nice stop on the reversal on the dive of Ricochet, which was really nice. I thought that looked really good by Dijak. But Dijak had a good showing for a match that obviously Ricochet was going to win, even though it was Dijak's debut. Dijak still had a good showing, and I think he'll be good for the future as well, especially since people know him a little bit more. I think he might get a push before Eichner does, just because I think because of his Ring of Honor presence, people know him a little bit more. That time in the House of Truth, that time away from the House of Truth in Ring of Honor too. So he has a good chance of getting a good push coming up soon too. I don't think it probably won't be at this takeover, but it'll be coming up. After this match, Velveteen Dream comes out with a really nice promo, basically downplaying everything Ricochet does. And Velveteen Dream kind of challenged Ricochet a little bit here, and Ricochet came out. Ricochet does this ridiculous, superhero flip over the ring, lands on his feet, and right at the face of Velveteen Dream, as Velveteen Dream was going to come to the ring and try to confront him. It was freaking awesome. These athletic guys, you don't see that very often as far as something that cool. You'll see it in a dive, you'll see it in kind of the typical places, but this was kind of an atypical place. for a dive of this caliber where he kind of lands on his feet, a heroic type of a dive. It was awesome. I love Ricochet. Ricochet's doing some good stuff right now with Velveteen Dream. And I think they're both, able to bounce off of each other. And the one thing about this feud is I don't think you can go wrong with either way. Like this is Ricochet's first big feud in NXT. So you would think he would probably get that first match, but at the same time, the Dream's got all the momentum right now too, as far as like his character and being over and the fans love him. These are two just really over guys. No one really feels like a heel, although Velveteen Dream is the heel in this one. No one really feels like a heel in this one because the fans love both of these guys tremendously. But I like it though, man. It's freaking awesome. I'm loving what Velveteen Dream and Ricochet are doing together in the ring. It's just been amazing. Moving on to our last point here is the main event of the evening: Shayna Baszler versus Dakota Kai. This match was pretty good too. Baszler obviously was dominant throughout this match, as she often is. Usually we've seen Baszler in the past target the arm. She targeted the arm of Ember Moon, has targeted the arm of everyone. Kairi Sane as well. But in this match, changed it up a little bit and targeted the leg of Dakota Kai. No stomps on the leg look like they could snap your leg. So like they're like I don't know how the positioning is and how they are setting this stuff up, but it looks amazing. So keep doing that. I'm loving that because now she has two targets. You never know which one she's going to go for now too. So that helps out a lot. I like Dakota Kai in this one. She felt like we've been talking about this before. Dakota Kai has been doing a great job selling that freaking fear that I'm scared. It's Shayna. Shayna's a legit like I'm not gonna mess with her type of girl. So I gotta chill out. She's been showing that fear, but then Nikki Cross kind of helped her out last week. Over time she's been getting better, but Nikki Cross, who has no fear at all, kind of said, hey, take this chance. Take this chance. You got this. Take this chance in a weird kind of come together moment that they had. So this match was pretty good. Obviously, I knew Shayna was gonna win. Like I said, Dakota Kai's not. This was a title match too, and I didn't think Dakota Kai was gonna win the title by any means, especially this close to Takeover. But at the same time, it felt like it felt like she had a good showing. She's kind of getting a chance to kind of get her feet going, get her feet wet a little bit against Shayna Baszler. After the match, Nikki Cross comes out to the ring, and Nikki Cross and Dakota Kai work together to take out Shayna Baszler, and then Nikki Cross covers Shayna Baszler, and Dakota Kai counts the pin, and Nikki Cross holds up the title as if she's won the title. You wonder if she's going to steal the title. I don't think she will. But usually in those regards, that's what happens. They steal the title, but I don't think she's going to steal the title. But that could be setting up. I think that is what's being set up. It's either going to be a three-way, or it's going to be one-on-one with Nikki Cross and Shayna Baszler. So I'm excited about that. Nikki Cross was another one that I wasn't thinking about. I think it was last week when I was talking about people who could take out Shayna Baszler, who seem believably capable of taking out Shayna Baszler, because obviously Kairi Sane just feels too small. It feels too small, kind of too innocent. Dakota Kai in the same way. I was talking about Bianca Belair, but obviously she's not going to do it right now because she's kind of just finding her stride too. But you got Nikki Cross, who's been there forever. Obviously, no one's going to take the title off of Shayna Baszler right now. So what I think what they might do is they might do a three-way. Even though Dakota Kai did lose this match, they might do a three-way coming up at TakeOver Chicago too. And they might have it where, Nikki Cross doesn't necessarily get pinned, but it keeps this feud going so they can build into the next TakeOver, which I think will come up around SummerSlam weekend in August. So they have 2 months to continue to build Nikki Cross versus Shayna Baszler, which I think would be cool too. And that's one of those matches that it's very believable that Shayna Baszler could lose, because there's not a lot of people that can take out Shayna Baszler right now. I think Bianca Belair feels like she's got potential to take out Shayna Baszler. I don't know if she'll do it now, but she's got the potential to. And then obviously you got Nikki Cross, who's been around for a while. And I'm excited Nikki Cross is still around because I know Sanity went up to the main roster, but Nikki Cross didn't really go up to the main roster. And she's never really gotten a title run back when Ember Moon had won the title, and it was kind of Ember Moon. It was Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott. I'm missing one more. I think Peyton Royce might have been in that particular match, but you had especially those three. You had Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, and Ember Moon going after who was the champion at the time? Was it Asuka? If I'm not mistaken, it might have been Asuka. But we'd always talk about who could take the title from Asuka, and I always thought it would be. I felt like Nikki Cross was in a better position, always in a better position than Ember Moon was, because Ember Moon had lost some steam, I think, from the injury, and Nikki Cross had just kept going. She had kept building. So I feel like, one second, I feel like it seems like Nikki Cross is still in a good position right now. Like she has never really lost her luster, but at the same time, she's never really been pushed. Speaking of things they may could do with Bray Wyatt, put him in the put him in Sanity. I don't know. I'm still thinking about things they could do to revitalize Bray Wyatt, man. I miss Bray Wyatt. I mean, obviously he's still around, but really not doing anything that's like worth it anymore right now. It feels like. So I mean, I don't know. Like you wonder about stuff like that too. But anyway, back to the point at hand here as we finish up and wrap up the show. You know, I'm wondering, you got Nikki Cross kind of in the crosshairs now too. So you wonder, like, how long it's going to be before she maybe gets the title. But at the same time, she's never had the title, so she might not ever get the title. So, there's a lot going on right now. Still loving Nikki Cross too. So I wonder where, there's a lot of things that you kind of wonder where it's going to go right now, especially with NXT Takeover coming up, which is a great thing. You want to be wondering, you want to be thinking, you don't want to be like, oh, well, they're going to lose, So I mean, because you got Alistair and Lars, which you feel like Alistair's got the advantage, but at the same time, Lars has been so dominant and booked so well that anything could happen. Anything is possible. You got now with Shayna and enter Nikki Cross in the fold. That makes that match a little bit more interesting. That's a person that can really challenge her a little bit. Obviously, you got the Undisputed Era, and who knows? Who knows who they're gonna be up against coming up at Takeover. We don't really know yet. That hasn't really been revealed. North American title, that hasn't really been revealed. So it's one of those things, you really have to, that's one thing about NXT I'm really loving right now is you really have to watch every single show to really say, to really keep yourself going, to really, know what's going on. And like every takeover feels important. And that's the big thing. You want every takeover to feel important, every pay-per-view to feel important. The main roster could definitely take notes from that because it feels like we always have these filler pay-per-views. I mean, more so based off of the names, but still like these filler pay-per-views where you're like, oh, well, he's gonna win, he's gonna win, he's gonna win, he won. Like you have it like where it's just easily predictable. So NXT's doing a good job of staying unpredictable and at least having you say, you never know where this is gonna go. Tommaso and Johnny as well, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, which is one of those matches where you still don't know where it's gonna go because last time Johnny won to get his job back. And then you got this rematch now. You would think Tommaso kind of has to win now. So I don't know. We got some good stuff coming up with NXT, especially with Takeover coming up. And I think it's 2 weeks now. So that should be exciting. I'm definitely excited. Takeovers are always good. They've always been good historically. So that makes for an exciting time. So hope you guys enjoyed. We got the Impact review coming up tomorrow. Like we said, we're gonna try to get back on a real schedule sometime in the near future. At least trying to get videos out the day after. But everything's been so crazy and busy, and things have been going on. So still try to get the content out to you, just not in the most timely of manners at this point. But we will get better on that. We got more discussions coming up as well. We want to get back to those. It's just been kind of some crazy times, I think, for both of us right now. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back next tomorrow, hopefully for the Impact review with Rabid. I don't know if anybody else is coming by. I doubt it because people love to crap on Impact, but they don't really watch Impact to be able to crap on it. So, but I'm definitely excited. Under Pressure, I know a lot of the results, and I haven't even watched the show yet. That's unfortunate. That's why we hate social media. But I'm definitely excited to talk about the show tomorrow. We'll see you guys next time. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button once again. If you already hit it, don't hit it again. It's gonna mess everything up. It's gonna mess everything up. Don't do it. You hit the bell for notifications if you want to see more and know more of what's going on with the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. Also, like the Facebook. If I could finish this talking out, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/ICW podcast as well. And we're going to try to get back ramping up content on there as well. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time. This was your NXT review on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant classic.